Harley Quinn is the brand new animated adult comedy from the DC Universe app, but how was it? Was it funny? I'm Cape Joel. Join me, why don't you, as I give my own thoughts and see what, if any, comic book references and Easter eggs I can suss out. Now, the first episode was entitled Till Death Do Us Part, and right off the bat, the first 5 seconds of this show does, in my mind, a great job of letting you know exactly what type of comedy this is going to be. As the first words out of the mouth of a disguised Joker are, "Gentlemen, my fellow whites," followed by a barrage of F-bombs and obscenities from the mouth of Harley Quinn herself. Oh yeah, this is gonna be that kind of show, one that definitely needed to be on an app for sure. In fact, this might be one of the only DC Universe shows not going to HBO Max, but you know what, I digress. Joker and Harley are sticking up a wealthy yacht party held by Gotham's elite. Harley here being voiced by that lady from Big Bang Theory. No, not the one who already voiced Harley in one of the other animated movies, the other one, yeah, that one. Harley wants to impress the Joker, but she can't because he keeps stepping on all of her lines and bits. Batman, once again reprised by Diedrich Barber from The Brave and the Bold, breaks up the robbery, and Joker leaves Harley behind, swearing that he'll break her out of Arkham later. Naturally, this turns out to be a lie, but Harley sadly holds out hope for way longer than she reasonably should. It's also around this time too we're introduced to this show's version of Jim Gordon, and he had me in stitches right away. First off, he's voiced by Christopher Maloney of Happy and Law & Order SVU fame. He's a cop so coming apart at the seams, so close to a breakdown, and yet no one actually seems to care. It's comedy gold. Harley, as I mentioned before, gets herself thrown back in Arkham Asylum, which in this first episode is a great who's who of Batman villains, filled with tons of deep cuts and references and characters that I'm sure we're going to see more of later on in the series. It's here too we're introduced to Harley's best friend forever, Poison Ivy, voiced by Lake Bell, who is essentially the straight woman to Harley's comedic antics. And also, if an interview between the creators of this show and CBR is to be believed, perhaps there will actually be more to these two than just friendship heading into the future. Ultimately, it's Ivy who ends up breaking Harley out of prison, if only so she can try and get her head straight about the Joker. This is actually a really good scene too, because they turn down the comedy for a minute and remind you that, oh yeah, Harley was actually a noteworthy doctor at some point, who even actually helped Ivy quite a bit overcome her own issues, and now the favor is being returned. But like most real-world abusive relationships, Harley can't leave the first time, as the Joker seems to know exactly what to say to get her to stay. And let's talk about the Joker for a second. He's voiced by Alan Tudyk, a man no stranger to playing evil clowns, and here he offers a special kind of bad boyfriend sliminess that helps inform the character. Joker and Harley's reconciliation is threatened, however, by the Riddler of all people, who in a scene-stealing turn from Jim Rash, who's basically just doing the same character he was doing from Mike Tyson's Mystery, claims that he has a riddle so funny it's going to make people's head explode, which the Joker just cannot abide by. After all, he's Gotham's king of comedy. Harley, in order to save date night and while wearing the same nightie from the Mad Love comic book story and animated series adaptation, vows to kill the Riddler, which only ends up getting her captured right alongside Batman, who is working the same case. This was part of a much bigger plot by Enigma to get the Joker into a Sophie's Choice style situation wherein he has to choose who he loves more, Harley or Batman, and I think we all know the answer to this question. Ultimately, this serves as the wake-up call Harley needed to finally strike out on her own, complete with a brand new costume modeled after the one she had in the New 52, in particular the one from the Palmiotti and Connor solo series years. Honestly, I think this episode gives a way better reason for Harley donning a new set of attire than the comics ever really did. Granted, Joker just won't let her go, and all of this leads to a massive fight between Harley and his army of henchmen. How is the action in this show, you might be wondering? Honestly, better than I thought it could be. Sure, they use a lot of tricks, speed-ups, holding on single images, bright flashes here and there to make things seem more exciting, but it actually does look like it hurts. There's no shortage of blood, and when it's meant to be funny, it's some really funny comedy too. And you know, while we're on the subject of animation, all these new redesigns for the show are pretty cool. They are both familiar and yet unique all at the same time. The only real downside is you can tell they were really cutting costs when it came to the backgrounds, but you know what, it's a comedy, that's fine. I am willing to forgive that. In the end, Harley defeats Joker but refuses to kill him, saying that she wants him alive just to see how well she can do without him. She's gonna have her own adventures, her own capers, 100 years, Harley Quinn. Why, she's even gonna join the Legion of Doom just to really get under his pale skin. And so that was Harley Quinn episode 1, and you know what they say, comedy is one of the hardest things in the world to review because it's just so damn subjective. Either you think something is funny or you don't, and for what it's worth, I did find all of this pretty funny. It's honestly pretty accessible, even if you don't know the comic lore in these relationships. The show does a good job letting you know who these characters are, where they're coming from, how they interact, and if you are a comic nerd like me, then the whole thing takes on a whole other comedic layer. Overall, I thought this was a good, solid pilot episode, and I hope they can keep it going into the future. And if you want to see me keep going into the future, well then keep watching my videos. You can always subscribe and hit the bell if you want to be up to date on my next Harley Quinn video, which I'm sure will be coming very soon. So until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.